All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Intro to Adobe Express session. This session runtime is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Leading today's session is Tom Mullaney from our partners at ALP. Today's session is the first in a series of DIT Hour of Learning sessions that we plan to offer throughout the year. Today's sessions are dedicated to Adobe Express. The reason we focused on Adobe Express because there was an overwhelming, interest after our virtual conference on January 26th. A lot of people wanted more information on Adobe Express. So we have 5 sessions. Some of you are registered for more than one today. This session will be an hour. The next session starts at 10:15. And we plan to offer these types of opportunities virtually throughout the year. April 2nd will be another day of DIT Hours of Learning opportunities. We will focus on Zoom AI Companion on that day. We'll have a few sessions around that. If you guys have any other areas of interest that you would like us to offer training around, please feel free to drop that in the DIT Events chat channel. If you have not joined the DIT Events chat channel, please do so. I'll drop that in the chat here. And with that said, I'll hand it over to Tom. Tom.
Thank you, Scott. Welcome, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here this morning for Introduction to Adobe Express. This next slide here talks about what I'd like to try to do today during our time together. But what we're really going to do is I'll do a couple of demos for you, just showing you the basic features of the tool. I'm going to try to give you a lot of time to play where you create something of your choosing. And at the end, it's going to be links, links, links. It's going to be, I'm going to ask you to share a link to something you create. I'm going to ask you to do an attendance survey and a survey for Adobe. And I'll even give you the link to get your ACE Level 1 badge as well. And one of you who completes the attendance survey will get swag. So I have to bring up that email. But anyway, you'll have one of you is going to get some Adobe swag. Hooray. So let's start with just a little introduction about me. I'm coming to you from North Carolina. If my voice sounds a little echoey, it sounds echoey to me. It's because I'm in an empty room because we're actually moving back up to the Philadelphia area. That's where my wife is from and where I lived for a long time. I'm originally from New York. I've lived in 6 states, including the District of Columbia and Virginia. Lived in Arlington and Crystal City after graduating George Washington University more than 20 years ago. So anyway, I've been in education for a long time. We are going to get you started in the tool right away. And the way we're going to do that is, well, one, I'm going to give you my slides. You don't need to use the slides because anytime there's a link, I will drop it in the chat. But for now, if you want them, there's the slides. And what we'll do is I'm going to get us started with a little goal template. So don't worry about doing anything right now. I'll get us started. So let me copy this link and let me get Adobe Express up. And by the way, this is Adobe Express. So take a look at my screen right now. There's a new, relatively new feature, fall of 2023, called Drawing. It's not part of our intro, but if you want, we can do a session later. I can talk to Scott. The drawing is pretty neat, but you can also make videos, animate your voice, web pages, and graphics. And what you'll see when you're on this page is you'll see your stuff with your folders, just like Google Drive. You can make folders and save files there. Educator resources, which is a ton of templates. We'll look at templates momentarily, but it's a lot of cool things you can do there. And then here you have some quick actions and things you can do, including animate from audio, text to image, remove background from an image. You can edit your PDFs in Express, all this cool stuff. And then your recent files, and you can see them all. These are my recent files right here. So you'll see all that. Just going to open up that quick little goal setting template and think about what Adobe Express is, right? You make graphics, you can make quick and easy videos, you can build quick and easy web pages. And so think about that and think about what you might want to learn today. In a minute, not yet, I'll have you playing in this goals template. And so what I will do is I'm just going to demo real quick what it looks like when we add text. We're going to just start with text. So when you click add your text, the amount of options, including dynamic and circle and art, you can play with that. Please do play with all of that. But I'm just going to make this text, I'm going to make it, let's see, I'm going to make it black. So let's go to black right there. You can change the color. You can make it any color you want on the web, which is nice. I'll make it black. And source sans 3, that's a little basic. I like Poppins if I can get to Poppins real quick. There's a lot of fonts, as you can see. Yeah, Poppins is my jam. And I'm going to make this a lot smaller. It's set to 128. Let's go to maybe like 72. And I'll say my first goal will be to quickly make videos for students. And once you're there, you can then expand that out a little bit. Let me make that left centered. And I'm going to, again, decrease that font a lot. Maybe beautiful. And now it kind of lines up with that box. And if I just want the same thing again, because now if I click somewhere else and I just want to add some text, and I click add your text, I don't want that. Now I got to reformulate that, all right? Or I got to format that, excuse me. So I'm just going to delete that. And what I'll do is I'll click on this, and anything in Express that you can click on, you can right click, duplicate, and bam, now I have it formatted like so. The other thing I want you to notice is that over here on the right, we have what's called layers. And so everything here is a layer. And if you can click a layer, then you can edit it, you can move it, you can rearrange it so it goes up above things, right? Look at this. See what I did there? This layer, which the opacity has been changed a little bit. So this is a little trippy. See, I can make this whole thing. All right, I'm having too much fun. I'm going to put this back. I'm actually going to put it way back underneath all that stuff. Good, good, good. There we go. All right. So what I'm going to, and by the way, I should probably spell quickly correctly. This is education. I've noticed in my time in education. Oh, and I forgot to share my background in education, special education teacher, 10 years. Then I did a couple of years of middle and high school social studies, and then some ed tech instructional coaching. So I have a background in education, okay? Despite the way I spelled the word quickly, I'm actually certified to teach chemistry in the state of North Carolina, which if you're with me in my science session at the end of the day today, I'll explain how that happened. With that, I'm going to give you all now a template, and let's take 3 minutes to just play. And I'm going to ask you to add some goals for the class, for your class today, and we'll go from there. So here is the template. It should open for you in a editable file. And there we go. So you can click on that. Yes, that should work. If it doesn't, this link is actually probably better here. So let's go goals. Boom. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you to just play with the text. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. During this time, if you're having an issue, feel free to unmute or drop it in the chat. I will try to address it. If we can't address it, we will go on because I want to make sure we have time to play and learn today. You can at least communicate that. If you have questions or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them in a way that helps you and your peers. So take 3 minutes, work on the goals template, and like I said, let me know if you have questions that arise. Okay, everybody, we have another minute to go. In a minute, I'll actually ask if you're feeling social to share a goal or two that you have, something good for me to keep in mind as I present in the chat. So take another minute and we'll go from there. Ten more seconds as we finish up this time. Please feel free, go ahead and drop a goal or two in the chat. Something you're excited to try today in Express or learn about in Express. And as you do that, I'd love to hear what you're curious about in Express, any goals that you might have. As you do that, oh, here we go. Oh, okay. All right. Wow, maybe I should have thought that out a little bit because I'm getting all these answers. Presenters and teachers, we always want our audiences to be participatory, and we want those students to raise our hands. And then when 10 do, then it's kind of like, oh yeah. Anyway, so this is great. Students and teachers, I'm actually going to show you a student teacher thing right this second. Video tutorials, I'll show you how to convert graphics into videos, learn how to apply day-to-day activities, generative fill. Generative fill, my next session is on AI. I don't know if we're going to get to it today. This session, we might. Modifies. Okay. Modify materials. Okay, let's talk about that. Give students access to this program. Okay. Awesome. Good stuff. Get comfortable with the AI. Oh, yes. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Thank you for sharing that. Let me just go in. A couple things I want to show real quick that I can address. So let's say at the end of this session, you make a couple things and you're a little shy about them, but you say, my goal template looks good. I can do my goals. I can share that. So you could always download. You always have that option. So go ahead and download. Feel free. But you can click share and you can publish to the web. Now, when we publish to the web, there's a nice little button here that says, and I'll just do Tom's goal, just give it a title. And when you allow others to remix, watch what happens. I'm going to click publish link. Okay. Then when we click copy link, watch what's going to happen. I'm going to bring up my slides thing here, and we'll go paste and go to. And do you see this little button right here at the bottom of my screen? I hope you can see this. It says remix this design. So that's the forced copy for the other students. So you just publish to the web, allow remixing, and then your kids would click that button, click, and then they would make their own copy. Of course, they would have to then go back in and click share. While I'm in this file, I'll also point out that you can always add more frames, just like Google Slides, and you can make it the same size, you can customize it, or you can duplicate it. Once you're there, you can then click this 2 to see all your frames. I like this because let's say I didn't like my initial one, and so I could go into this one and replace this image, this background. So you see this image here? When you click any image, you can click this replace button, duplicate, or even lock in place. Lock in place is great for collaboration. So I'll just click replace real quick, and I'm just going to search red and blue. Maybe I think red and blue is a better background. Oh, let's try this one, everybody. So we try. Oh, all right. So a little rough. I have to definitely change that color real quick. So let's make that color black. Okay. So now if I click this 2, do you see here I have 2 versions? I have 2 iterations. Oh, that not take? All right, let's go back to the 2 here. Okay. So I have 2 iterations. So you can have your students do this. Iteration 1, iteration 2, get feedback on both from their peers. So really nice tools for iterating and making some things. One thing I'm a little upset with myself about is that I didn't give it a title right away. Remember, untitled at whatever date and time serves no one for nothing. So that was poor modeling on my part. This would be Tom's goals 3-5. Always have your kids title things. With that, let's keep going. And there's my screens, my background there. I don't, give me a second. Get my slides back up. Here we go. All right, so why do we tell our visual stories with Adobe Express? All right, we do it because our brains are wired to rapidly process visual information. Visualizations, including diagrams, charts, images, they help students filter and understand complex information. For many students, well-designed visuals can yield a more powerful and memorable learning experience than simple text. And think about your kids. They're on their phones, they're on TikTok. If they come into your class and then they see black text on white pixels, as I've done here, for every single thing they're expected to learn, do you think it's going to stick? I don't think so. Real quick, before I get into, before I get into the template we're going to work off of, I do want to show you commenting. Commenting is so cool. So in our file here, I'm going to click share. And if you use Google, you'll recognize this, right? You can just share with folks. So you could have 3 or 4 or pairs of students working in the same file, collaboration. And I have a can edit and can comment. I'll do can edit and I'll say, please edit. Right to edit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this thing here. And oh, by the way, I still don't like this. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to add a shape behind it. And the shape I'll add behind it is going to be, let's see here. There's one that's like a paintbrush. Oh, show more here. Yeah, this one right here. Let's do this one. And see, so it becomes a bit of like a highlighter. In this one, it's not that bad. That yellow color isn't that bad, but I can customize that as well. Either way, so that sticks out a little bit more here. And I'm going to leave a comment using this button right here. And I'm going to tag my collaborator. So I'll say tag. And I will say, please change this. And then let's go to an emoji and I'll say image picture. There we go. And I can even place a pin on it too, and then click submit. And now Tom has in his email inbox a comment. So this collaboration, the collaborative features, it's all there now. You can have students be creative and be collaborative. Oh, and communication. We're going to hit 3 of the 4 C's today. All right. All right. With that, let's keep going. I just wanted to make sure that you all saw that because it is so cool. I love the comments. So let's get into a template. So think about this text. Maybe you're teaching photosynthesis and there's this, oh, look at this lengthy text here. So how could we communicate this visually? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template and give me a second while I get that link. And I'm going to click copy and we'll go back into our demo account here. And one thing I will say, when we talk about actions and things to do to help students and modify curriculum for students, you see this edit PDF. I know that was one of the goals that came up today. You can click edit PDF. And when you upload a PDF in there, you can edit the text. You can make the text bigger. You can change images, you can add images. So that edit PDF to me, if I have a curricular PDF and I have students who have modifications, go in there and play with that. You can go and highlight words in it, whatever you need to do to help students access the material in the original PDF. So I just wanted to show you all that. Okay, with that, and by the way, when we talk about templates, if you want a template for something, just search for it. So we're going to do photosynthesis. So this is one I worked on before, but you see here, we have templates, view all. So if you teach it and you want students to make a visual for it, search for it in templates. There might be one there. Here, there's a lot, but I'll use the one that I had linked in the presentation. And I want to just show you 2 or 3 things you can do. And so I'm going to title this photosynthesis, okay? And let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, great. And you see I have my layers here, all that good stuff. And a couple things I'm going to do. So one, we have a rectangle here. I'm going to make that rectangle a darker green. So let's make it darker green there. Beautiful. And we talk about sunlight and rain. So let's add sun and rain, shall we? So we go to elements. And if you name a common noun, it's going to be there. So like, in fact, here in the chat, not proper nouns, give me a common noun in the chat. Go ahead, give me one while I start searching for the sun. But you go ahead and give me just type them in the chat, please. Thank you. While you're thinking of common nouns to give me, scissors, awesome. Scissors and umbrella. Oh, umbrella will be perfect because we're going to do rain. All right, I'm going to add all right, you can stop with, all right, scissors, umbrella, we're going to do it. So for sun, you see here, if I want to add the sun, I could do a design asset real quick and add it there. And there's my sun, and now I can move it. Okay, that's actually kind of nice. This one's actually, I kind of like that one. But when we go back to elements, you can also do shapes, which no, there won't be any shapes, but look at the icons, right? And with the icons, when you throw that in there, the sun isn't green, but you can always make it, like a yellow. All right, so let's delete a couple of those. Let's add scissors real quick. So if I type in elements, and now I'm going to type in scissors, and look at all the scissors icons I can choose from. Any design assets? Yep. So does the difference between design assets and icons is a design asset comes in and it's an image. I can't change the color. I can play with the image things here with some of these adjustments, but I can't change the actual color. When it's an icon, see here, I put that in and then it comes in as white, but maybe I want it to be black. Boom. So I can customize the color. So that's the difference there. All right, let's add rain in an umbrella. So I'm going to quickly add rain. There's my rain. And let's add my umbrella as well. So back under. And as you can see, the icons, a ton of them there. And I can always move and right. All right, but let's say we want to get a little bit deeper understanding. So I'm putting this all over here, all this fun stuff, right? Let's say I want to look at chloroplasts. Now, there's probably not going to be a good icon for chloroplasts, but what if I go to media and I search for photos for chloroplast? Oh, I have to spell it correctly. And it's giving me spell check. Thank you. Thank you, Adobe. And look at this. Zoomed in on chloroplast. So now I can throw this in here and I can even, let's do a fun little trick. Let's remove the background. Wait for it. You see, so I can remove the background and then there I can have that and I can label it with that. Okay. Now, as much as I'd like you to play with this template right now, I do want to demo a couple other things real quick, and then I'm going to give you playtime. So let's say I want to teach this photosynthesis to my students, and I'm just going to do that and move this over here. Or, okay, whatever. We'll make it work. Actually, let's take this photosynthesis and bring it all the way up. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. All right, better. I can always edit this, but it's better. Okay. So let's say I have a student who wants to explain their thinking, or you're a teacher and you want to walk your students through this, right? Watch this. Let's go back to media and let's go to audio and let's record a voiceover. And I'm just going to start recording. Hey, students, this is our lesson on photosynthesis. Okay, so that's there now. And I can always stretch that out to match. And now I'll add a scene. And on the scene, I'll go into media again. And I'm going to go to videos and I'm just going to search rain on plants. And we got that. Oh, with this nice umbrella, let's do that one. And let me delete this puppy and I'll start. All right. I don't like the landscape aspect of that. So I'm just going to delete that one and let's see if we get, let's try this one. Oh, I have to add it as a scene. No, that's if I hit resize, let's do 1920 by 1080. You can always resize scenes or frames, basically. And then I'm going to, all right. And you know what? I might do a little audio voiceover for this one as well. So let's go back to media. The media button is fantastic. You can do so much cool stuff, and I'll record a voiceover again. Plants take rain and sunlight to make the cells they need to survive. I'm just coming up with some things here. And so now let's just watch this. And I think you should hear this. I hope you do. And my apologies if you don't. Hey, students, this is our lesson on photosynthesis. Plants take rain and sunlight. All right, I don't know if you heard that, but so you and your students can make videos right in this little editor, and it's the same thing as the graphic editor. If I want to add text, I add text. If I want to add those elements, those icons and shapes and things, I just do that. It's all in one. From there, one last thing I want to show you back at the homepage. And here you'll see all the cool things you can do: poster, video, web page. I'm going to do a web page from scratch. You can always use the plus button and just search for what you want to do. And so there's web page. And I'm going to call this the photo synthesis web page. And you know what? Let me go back over here and go to this one. And I again need to resize this to be I forget exactly, but that's okay. Let's just use this as it is. And so I'm going to download this, and it wants to download this as an MP4 at 1080. That's awesome. But what I'll do is I'll just do this as a PNG. Fine, great. Click download. So I have that. Now I go back to my video and I can add a nice little cover here that's a photo, and I'll just do rain plants. Beautiful. And then I'll scroll to start my story, and I can do all kinds of things. I could put a YouTube video in there if I want to explain something with that. I can add, let's add a photo grid. And what I'll do with this grid is I'll just start adding some pictures here. And maybe one more. There we go. Click save. And now I got this nice little thing here. I can add a caption here. I might just add a little text and say, this is my photosynthesis. Graphic. And now I'll just upload that graphic that I had earlier. Upload from device. There it is. Boom. And I can do it as a window, as a full width. I can do all sorts of fun effects there. And I can add a little caption as well. So this is just a brief overview. Just want to show you the capabilities that you have in Express to make sure that you are aware of all this good stuff, the ways your students can tell stories. Okay. With that, I want to give you now about 15 minutes just for play, just to create something, whether it be I'll give you the photosynthesis template, or you can search for template of your own if you want to make a web page, if you want to try to make a quick little basic video with some images. You have an image, 2 images, 3 images. You can, yes. Oh, and by the way, into the media, absolutely. So here, if I go here, let me, you know what, actually, let's go back and I'll go back to my original goal setting template. So here's my goal setting template. And let's just say I want to add an image. Okay, so I'll go into media. You always click media and we go to upload from device. And you know what, I'll just try to get a picture of myself. And well, that's kind of a good one. Let's do me and my wife, Erin, at the beach in Ocean City. Beautiful picture, right? And I'll even try to remove background. Not that we should. That picture is pretty cool. And there we are. How cool is that? So the answer to that is absolutely. Please, during this work time, I want you to to ask any questions at all that you have, because we have time and I want to make sure everyone's set to go. All right, let me give you the photosynthesis template if you want to use that, but this is all about choice. We'll come back in 15 minutes and I will ask you to share something you've created using that share button, or you can download it and upload it. I'll show you where we're going to do that. And then we'll talk about attendance, badge, survey, all that good stuff. But let's take about, I'm going to put 14 on the clock so we have time, and we'll go from there. And during this time, please, this is time to unmute. This is time to drop questions in the chat, and we'll do the best we can. Hey, I'll tackle a couple questions here real quick. So the way Adobe Express templates work, we don't have district specific ones. Basically, it's education or otherwise. Like if you're in your personal Adobe Express account, you can get a personal account for free, but it's much more limited than the education one. And when we go back to the homepage, yes, we're leaving so soon. When we go back to the homepage, the educator resources and the templates you'll see are a little different. You notice here, here's some popular templates than what you get in a personal account. As far as restricted from posting on the web page, George, if you could define what the web page is, that would help.
George or anybody else, you could also unmute if you'd like to ask it without putting in the chat. Feel free to do that. And just to jump in here, we do have a lot of restrictions on what could be published and what we could share outside of Adobe Express, but also just in general. So if there's not a precise answer that I could provide for you today, I would definitely follow up with any questions about what can be shared and what can't be shared.
And the other thing I would say is that David asked a question about Adobe Stock. So Adobe Stock has audio clips, a lot of voiceover music you can do, and the Adobe Stock obviously has video and it has images. And what I would say about that is an education account, you shouldn't find anything inappropriate. You can always, if that happens, let Scott know, and Scott won't let the folks at Adobe know. But having worked with Adobe Express and having done these sessions now for a little bit more than a year, I've just not come across that where anyone said, "Oh, I found something in the stock photos that was a little dicey." Have not had that happen. So real quick about websites, I can't speak to Adobe Fairfax's specific instance of Adobe Express, but there is a publish to web, very similar to doing a graphic or video. There is no remix button, but you can do that. And Scott, if you know somehow specifically that it's prevented from doing that, I don't know that it would be, but I guess there's different strokes for different folks, I guess. Because to me, if I was a teacher, I would definitely think about maybe making a single web page of student work or something to share with families. And I don't know the answer to that specific to Fairfax County Public Schools.
Yeah, I think it is restricted, but again, I'm not 100% sure, so I'll follow up after today's session.
Tom, can you hear me?
Yes, it can.
Are you? Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, question. So does Adobe Express read or calculate bar graphs, things like that? Or do you have to pretty much set up the picture and do the calculations yourself?
It does not have a feature where it would sum up things or add up, sum, average, all that stuff. It would not do that. No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, and Chris had a great question about if you grab an element, can you change the color of the element? The answer is if it's an icon. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to demo that in one of my files here. So let's go back to elements, and it sounds like woman computer. All right, so let's search for woman computer. All right, now this one actually looks like what you might be talking about. And this here is an image. So you can't do that. Now, if you had an icon of a woman in a computer, so let's say this is an icon. This you can change the color of all day. Now, and by the way, let me duplicate this. Let me duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to delete everything, like delete all this stuff, because I want to be able to see. Change the background color to white. Bye-bye Aaron and Tom. Bye-bye goals for class. All this stuff out of here. Okay. So I'm guessing, Chris, that this is what you added, this thing here, right? You cannot change this to a single color. If you notice, there's actually more than one color on this. However, you have effects here. And so you can do all these good things because it's an image. So let's say you said you wanted it to be blue. Great. And you can even customize that a little bit under the duo tones you see here. So I can make the highlights more of like, let's see, custom blue. Yeah, there you go. I've made it more bluish. So you can do that. And then the other things you can do include some more adjustments about shadows and brightness and all that good stuff. And animation, you can actually animate it so it comes in or out. And that's great for video. So that's just something that you can do as well. All right, we have about 5 minutes left, and then I'm going to try about 4 minutes, and then I'm going to try to have us do a lot of different things in 10 minutes. Oh, well, I'll do my best, and we'll see what we can do. All right, Amy, thank you for bringing that up. So hyperlinking is not currently available in Adobe Express. It's one thing I would love to see. To me, if I'm creating on the web, I want the ability to hyperlink. So that is currently not part of Express. I think in Express there might be a feedback tool. If there is a feedback tool, I'm going to look for it. If there's a feedback tool, that would be an awesome thing to share with the team at Express. And I probably will. Starting tomorrow, I'm at the North Carolina State Education Conference with the folks at Adobe talking about Express. So I'll mention that. Thank you, Amy. It's something I've been thinking about a lot too, how I'd love to be the ability to hyperlink. Oh, Jolene, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. It's so important to be precise. I was talking about the graphic, all right? When I'm on a web page, I can hyperlink all day. So here I will click here, I will get my hyperlink button. So I have that ability. I also have a tool called buttons, and a button is literally just a link to a website, so Adobe Express, then I'll go here and let's center that button. So in web page, yes, you can do that. Sorry, Jolene, I was imprecise in my explanation, and that caused the issue. So for when you design a graphic, you cannot hyperlink. When you're in the web page editor, hyperlink all day. Hey, George, thank you for the question. So when I use text to image to generate an image and I want to add text to the image, it's never written correctly. Are there solutions for this? The answer is at present, not really. I did one the other day where I said, have motivational posters on the walls in the background. And I've never seen motivational posters like that. It motivated me to speak gibberish. So right now with text in those images, yeah. All right, I'm going to stop the creativity right there. No more creativity because we have a lot we're going to do now in these last 10 minutes. And so I skipped to this slide here. And the first thing I'm actually going to give you is this. So I'm going to ask you all to complete an attendance form for me. And the attendance is actually this one right here. Let me get this. This attendance form, I am going to use to determine who gets the swag bag. And what I mean by the swag bag is this. So let me show you this here. One of you is going to get an Experience the Joy of Creativity notebook and tumbler. And I will send you the link to get that if you complete this workshop attendance and I pick you from our thing. So I'll do that right at the end, right at 10. So please get the attendance done. This shouldn't take long. So I'll throw that in there, and then we're going to talk about the other links that we're going to do as well. All right. While you work on that, I want to show you the other things we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to complete this survey. And so there's a survey as well that I'll ask you to complete. And that's from our good friends at Adobe. I'll throw that into the chat. And then we'll talk about badging and sharing your work. If there's any questions about the attendance or the survey, please let me know. All right, as you go through that, I know I've given you a couple things to do now. Survey. Oh, and let me have to go grab the. Oh, good. It seems like our responses are coming in. That's good. All right, good. So we can have a little drawing at the end. The other thing I'm going to show you is two other things. One is to get your badge. So to get your badge, you'll click Enroll Now, and you should be able to just click through it. Which I have on this next slide here. You basically click through it, click next, and you should see confetti, and then just, yeah, you're done, which this is showing here. You should see the confetti to congratulate you. Please let me know if there's a problem. It may ask you to attach a file. If if it does, I don't think it will, but if it does, you'll have to attach a file. It might be something you want to come back to later to get your level 1 badge. But anyway. So that's badging. So let's do that. And then in another minute, I'm going to show you where I'm going to ask you to share your work. The course homepage. Oh, my bad. I didn't give the link to it. Sorry. The link to the badging should be this right here. Hold on. Sorry about that, Chris. So many links. So your badge is there. My bad on that. All right. In another minute, I'll show you where I'm going to ask you to share your work if we have time. And then we'll do, at the end, I'm going to do the drawing. One of you is getting swag. You'll get, if you win, you get an email from me. So Tom Mulaney, just so you know. All right, with that, if things are going okay, I'm going to ask you to share what you've created in this, what's called a FigJam. Now, FigJam is a completely separate product, but a lot of people like to use Padlet for this purpose, but Padlet is a paid tool. This is a free tool. And so what I'll say is that you can just grab any one of these sticky notes and start typing and you can type anything, including you could use a link to share, to copy the sharing link. So I'll show you real quick. So this one right here, you can click this share, publish to the web. And here, let me click. Oh, there we go. I already did this one. And I could throw this right there and then people could see it. Or I could always go to one of these sticky links or sticky notes and click more and media and add my image as well. So I can do that there and we just cut that down a little bit. Boom. Anyway, so I'll put this in the chat. If you have a minute to share something you created, that would be amazing. And in a couple minutes, we're going to do actually in about a minute, we're going to do our drawing. Okay. All right, thanks for joining in there. You can also type your name to get credit for what you're doing. All right, let me get our... All right, so I have all my responses here from 2 to 25. So we're going to do a random drawing from 2 to 25. The max will be 2. Or the min will be 2, the max will be 25. This is for that notebook and nice little tumbler cup. And click generate. 19. So who was 19? 19 was Marisol Perez. Come on down. No, you can't come on down. And it's not a swag bag, it's a box. So what's going to happen, Marisol, is I am going to email you momentarily a link that you then fill out your name and email and address, and you get swag. So fun. With that, I want to thank everyone. As I look at the Fig Jam real quick, I see folks are in there. If it's a new tool, that's okay. That's totally fine. But you can always grab a sticky note, click on it. You should be able to edit it. Yep, anyone with the link can edit and go in there and just click on one of the sticky notes and just type in what you've done. All right. Yes, congratulations, Marisol. Thank you, everyone. Scott, if you have anything left to, like, as far as details or anything left to go over, please let me know.
Some housekeeping. What a great session. Thank you so much, Tom. Congrats to Marisol. I had nothing to do with the selection there. She happens to work in my office. But congrats to Marisol. It was a great session. Thank you, Tom. Everybody that was on the call today on this session will receive credit in my PDE as well, our LMS. So look out for that. And a lot of you will be joining other sessions later in the day. The next one will be generative AI with Adobe Express starting at 10:15. So with that being said, I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to end this session. Thank you to all who joined. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.